And we are back as soon as I turn off that screen.
We're back.
Yeah. Gonna have technical issues tonight as we are working through some new stuff. Mm-hmm. But we're doing the thing.
We're doing it. Do I sound far away? Do I need a... Are my headphones low? Can you turn my headphones up, please? Testing, testing. Hello? Oh, that's better.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, how's everybody's weekend going?
Tis Sunday.
We have some TikToks we would like to react to. We have a single story. Actually, we have quite a few stories, but I don't know if we're going to get into all of them. But do we want to BS for a little bit, or we want to just jump right into it?
What do you want to BS about?
I don't know.
I'm not interesting.
Shiny said, what is your opinion on the dramatization of mental health on social media versus what it is really like to live with? You mean the glorification of mental disorders? Because that's what it is.
It is.
And if you ask it a third time, I'm going to go ahead and block you because you're just blowing our shit up now. Yep, you're getting muted. Congratulations. That was quick.
Right off the bat.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Put user in timeout. You don't get to talk for a little bit. Guys, if you spam the chat, you will be quickly removed.
Yeah, it ruins the experience for everybody else.
It's annoying as fuck. And ultimately, that's what matters most. It's annoying to me.
Okay.
And if I have to see the same shit over and over and over again, my stupidity is low. Like that gas
The
tank
tolerance.
is on E.
Yeah.
So the fumes it's sputtering. Mm-hmm. Don't test me tonight. I'll block you. I don't give a shit.
You're hot.
It's the temperature. The AC's not working the way that it's supposed to.
I'm wearing a cardigan.
I know, it was a joke. I hear a phone.
Love you.
Is that you, me, or him?
Mine's over there on the floor.
It's gone now.
'Twas you.
It was. All right. Let's get into some TikToks. See if we can make this work the way it's supposed to work. Whoop. There we go. Back this up. Back this up. Fuck this thing. It's going to be the night, apparently. All right. You ready, babe?
Yes.
See if I can full screen it. Yeah.
There's more?
A lunchbox inside of a lunchbox.
Lunchboxception.
Oh!
Okay, so this is kind of stupid, but it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That the only thing that would have made that better for me is if somebody would have came up and been like, "Yo, I'll trade you for that Welch's, like, the snack. Like I got this bag of potato chips."
Yeah. Got some Doritos.
AJ must have got a kick out of that because he sent that over. So,
I bet that made her day.
well, he titled that "We Are Such Simple Creatures."
Yeah.
Because he got that lunchbox and showed that shit off,
And they were all impressed.
right. Well, yeah, I'm sure that there was an air of like, "All right, guys, let's really hype this up."
Yeah.
But as watching that, we were all like, okay, that little fucking snack organizer in there is pretty gangster. Like, all right, let's get this one up. Ooh, Andy Frisilla. Oh, man. All right, let's
Okay.
see how this goes. I fucking
go.
love this dude. Let's see. Play?
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind. They're going to always feel like they're not doing good enough. They're going to always feel like they're not far enough. They're all going to always feel like you're losing. Look, winning, this is how it feels. 90% of the time, you're going to feel like you're getting your balls kicked in. All right?
Okay, AJ. Fuck you for this. First and foremost, AJ, fuck you for this. I don't like feeling attacked. It's too early in the evening for this nonsense.
We're like 10 minutes in.
This is exactly how I've been feeling for the last month.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's go back to it, Steve.
I get that.
8% of the time, you're going to be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. And those moments come and go, and then you're back in the 90%. And that's the reality of a winner's life. People don't understand that. They think it's all about cruising around in a cool car, having a free and happy and easy and go-lucky life. And that's not reality, because true winners are built for the fucking fight. They're built for the battle. They don't find peace and joy and happiness in the win. They find what they're looking for in the fight.
I fucking love this dude. Andy
Yeah.
Frisella is one of my favorite people. I've bought his books. Like, I want to go. Dakota and I are planning on going to one of his like conferences the next time there's one in Tennessee. Like, which is not a cheap experience, but we're gonna do it. I am a huge fan of this guy, and he's not wrong. Yes, I drive around in a really cool car, but I live in that 90% and I thrive in it. Like, there are times where the exhaustion becomes too much, and like, okay, I'm taking a fucking day off. Had that conversation with him today and with Jordan. At some point this week, I'm going on Do Not Disturb for a full day. I need a break, but that's my 2%. I feel like we've won. We've done so many fucking interviews. We had an amazing interview last night with the African hippie from TikTok. She fucking, you guys were just unstoppable. I edited this today, and like I'm in there giggling and shit, and like it was fucking chef's kiss. You guys nailed it. And then we have Sam Alvey from the Ultimate Fighter TV show. He was one of the coaches one of the contestants on the UFC fighter thing. He's still a professional fighter. He's coming down next week. We have big interviews lined up. The podcast is moving along, and I really feel like I'm winning. And because I feel like I'm winning, I'm going to allow myself to have a day off.
Yeah.
I earned that shit. So Andy Frisell is the fucking man. If you guys don't listen to his podcast, it's the Real as Fuck podcast, Real AF podcast. All right, let's see what this one is. You have anything?
All you need is
hey, shut up, buddy. I'm talking. Do you want to? You have anything that you would like to add to the Andy Frisella thing before we move on?
No, I mean, I get it. That's exactly how I've been feeling. I feel like I'm a hovering plane about to crash.
Yeah. That exhaustion is real.
It really is. Living in that 2% of the winning, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
For me, it bounces from like 0.5 to the 2%. Because there's some days where I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking doing it. And there's other days where I'm like, okay, I have to remind myself.
Yeah.
You're fucking doing it. Like, yeah.
I think the days that you have to remind yourself that you're fucking doing it falls into that 8%.
Yeah.
Because for me, those are the days that I'm like, yo, my life is dope as fuck, right? Like I've created all this dope shit, but I'm so fucking tired. You know what I mean? And that 2% is that win, but like I've earned a vacation type shit. All right, let's see what this guy has to say.
all you need is one person in your life who says, "You got this, I believe in you," and you will find courage and energy to do things that you would not have had before. But more importantly, that person needs to also say, "And if everything goes wrong, I will be there for you, and I will be there with you, and I will be in the mud with you," and has the ability to say, "Something's wrong, I'm worried about you." And I think burnout happens when you're attempting to do all of the things you see other people do and not realize that they have deep, meaningful relationships that you can't see. And you think, falsely, that you have to do it alone.
What do you think about that one?
That's a lot for me to process. And I was like hung up on the first half of the shit he said, so I did not process anything he said.
Yeah?
Second half, yeah.
Let me pull something up.
Oh, okay. What are you pulling up?
I have to find it. Stand by. I got a text message from you yesterday
From me?
that said, "I couldn't survive this lifetime without you."
Oh, yeah. I did say that.
We have that system.
Yeah.
The days that I'm ready to go to war, you're suiting up to go with me. And the days that I'm wounded, you're going to hold my sword kind of shit. Like, we are that team. And having that, I believe in you, and like, what are you doing?
I just got a violation for harassment and bullying speech. Yeah, so I'm disagreeing with it real quick.
Oh, here we fucking go.
Click that little guy.
Wonder who you offended.
I don't know.
So what I was saying is we have that between the two of us. We have that team.
Yeah.
That you tell me that you're proud of me and that I can do anything. And when I'm feeling down, you give me the pep talks, and like we do that. Mm-hmm. But you're also quick to be like, "Hey, your mental health's not so good. You haven't showered. It's day 4. Mm-hmm. I know that you're battling depression and you're working through it to not feel anything. It's time to fucking get off your ass and go take a shower." Like, that's the reality of our life from time to time.
Right.
So this is accurate. Like, everything this dude just said is factual. Mm-hmm. That was a good one. Good job, AJ, on that one. All right, let's see what the next one is. This one's your partner comes first.
The kids.
Okay, so before we get into this one, I love this dude.
Okay.
He has a book called Own Your Past, Change Your Future, I believe. It's on the bookshelf out there. I've read it twice. I really, really enjoy this dude.
The kids have to come second to your marriage. My wife and I would walk in the door, and this sounds cruel, and I'm going to get a bunch of mean emails. I don't care. I'd walk past my kids. I'd say, hi, guys, and I'd go straight to mom. And mom got my first hug. Mom got my first attention. And then we would always say, I would say hi to the kids, and then I would say, we have to have, we're having adult time. Y'all got to go. And they had to leave the room. And they have learned that even when we say we're having adult talk, they'll just get up and leave because it's just so wired into them that they just know that's a part of our home, that they come second to my marriage. The kids.
So we've talked about this at length.
We have, yeah.
You have anything you want to dive into on that before I jump into what I'm going to say?
No.
Nothing, huh?
No.
All right. We have a moment in our house almost every single time I come in after I've been out while the kids are there. And that's the same thing. We come to each other first. And you and I will embrace and we'll hug and we'll kiss for a minute. We'll talk while I'm embracing you. And before I know it, like magnets, there's 4 people standing in a huddle all hugging each other.
Yeah.
But that comes secondary to our interaction. And as the kids get old enough to understand, adult talk conversation, they'll understand that. And I don't think that that's going to somehow put your kids in a secondary position. Ooh, excuse me. I think that it's going to teach them that marriage is a priority and that you should prioritize your partner. But I also think that that comes down to understanding the covenant of what marriage actually is and being there for your partner the way that you're supposed to be versus, putting video games first or hobbies or drinking or, TikTok.
There are times where you get home and I'll be in the kitchen cooking with our daughter and I'll hear the door start to open and I stop what I'm doing and I walk out of the kitchen and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Pops is home. But we're in the middle of something. Pops is home.
Yeah. Yep. So on my birthday, you let our daughter stay up until almost 11 o'clock.
I did.
Because I had shit going on. And
Yeah,
when I
you were
walked,
working late.
Yeah, when I walked in the door, she was fucking beside herself.
She was waiting at the door.
I could smell the brownies when the door opened. Like it was pungent. Like the fucking door opened and all I could smell was sweet perfection, sugary brownie goodness.
Yeah.
And she's like, "We made you something." I'm like, "I can tell." And obviously she was super excited about it. And we sat in there and had half a brownie before we put her to bed. I obviously didn't want her to eat like a whole lot of sugar before bed, but we got to like enjoy a birthday moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she'll remember that moment when she's 20 because she's 4.
I emailed her about it.
Did you?
I did.
Good. You want to talk about that? Talk about that, please.
So I have created an email for each of our children. And I try to at least once a week send an email to the children and just kind of update them on things. Like, well, this happened today and I'm so proud of you for this. I'm going to start fucking crying.
It's all right.
And
It's not a podcast, do you cry?
I'm including photos of the day or moments like that. Because they are so young, there's a possibility they're not going to remember it.
Right.
So I want them to know that in their childhood that they were definitely loved. And I even email them on hard days where I'm like, I'm so fucking frustrated today. And like, I understand your children and I have to remind myself that you guys don't understand yet. And it's just a lot. And I'm like, if you two ever decide to have kids, just prepare. It's a lot of mental work through. Like I'm trying to also email them things to help them into adulthood. Yeah.
And how old will they be before you give them the password to that?
I think 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we should include that information into a living will.
Okay.
Just in case of a plane crash or some horrible thing, that would suck for them to not have access to that after all that work. That's a dope idea. Like the idea of having that, today was your first day of school. Like you went to kindergarten today and like You came home and slept in the car and then slept on the couch and got up for dinner and went right back to bed because it's the first time in your entire life that you were forced to not have a nap all day long. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that shit's super cool. Yeah. And when you add personal like anecdotes to it, like your own, this is what I saw you going through kind of thing, I think it gives like a third party perspective to it. Shit's cool. All right, this is the last one of the videos, and then we'll
Nobody.
get into that article with Will and Jada. Go full screen.
Nobody can hurt me like my wife can hurt me.
Oh, you are not wrong. Whew, you are not
Except for
wrong.
maybe my mama.
Yeah, nope, you're wrong.
You see, and ladies, I'm going to tell you, we talk a lot about the tenderness of a woman, but you've heard me say it, we are 12-year-old boys that shave. And we don't tell you very often when we get hurt. We don't tell you. You know what we do? We do something that we really don't want to do. We go into protection mode. I'm not saying it's right. Guys, listen to me. It's not okay. It's not fair. It's not healthy, and it'll ultimately be detrimental to you and to your relationship. But I'm just going to tell you, it is the natural response.
Do you know why that's the natural response? Because that is how we are trained. Because from being little kids, being told to just put some dirt on it and not being allowed to express what we're going through, because young kids that don't have the ability to articulate themselves to tell you what's going on, that frustration comes out in tears. It's why it's important to have the conversation with your kids about what's going on and explain to them why their behavior is not okay, or, you know, whatever, instead of just punishing them. They don't have a vocabulary yet.
Right.
They're not able to express what's going on. And as that gets repressed because they don't know how to talk about it, as we become older, we repress. Then we get into relationships, and women fucking take that emotional immaturity and weaponize it, because it is not vulnerability. It is emotional immaturity. It's because we have not been taught how to express ourselves the way women have, because it's not okay for us to act like that. So then it becomes weaponized, used against us. And then as we get older and it becomes an issue, we go into protection mode, self-preservation, and we turn inward and we further bottle things up. That's not healthy.
No.
But it's taught to us. That is a learned behavioral trait, and it can be unlearned. All right.
When we open up and we share those feelings and they're invalidated,
There you
or
go.
we share dreams that you don't see eye to eye on, very often a guy's not just going to come out and because in our culture, we are really scared of being called tyrants. Can I just be honest? We're very scared of being called bullies, and we don't want to make you do anything. Any man in here will tell you they want their wives to follow them because they want to follow them, because they respect who they are and how they are, not because they're being forced to or driven to.
That's a hell of a point. I'm going to play that back just a
Often
little
a
bit.
guy's not hear dreams that you don't see eye to eye on. Very often a guy's not just going to come out and because in our culture, we are really scared of being called tyrants. Can I just be honest? We're very scared of being called bullies, and we don't want to make you do anything. Any man in here will tell you they want their wives to follow them because they want to follow them.
All right.
Because they
That's what I wanted to touch on. You can skip the because they respect and all of that other shit. That was a conversation we had very early on in a relationship. I don't want you to fucking do anything that you don't want to do.
Right.
I want our dates to be dates because you want to be there. If I'm like, I'm going to the store, you want to go? That's not me saying come to the store with me. That's me saying that you can stay on the couch and eat bonbons, or you can come get in the car and we can go to the store. I want you to be happy doing what you're doing, and you're going to let me know what you want so that I can just go about my life. And if you want to be there, you can be there. Over time, you're going to show me your priorities by you picking the things that you want to do. If every time I'm like, I'm going to go do this, would you like to go? I'm going to go do this, would you like to go? And you always say no, eventually I'm going to go, okay, she clearly doesn't want to go anywhere with me, so I'm just going to stop asking. And when she wants to go, she'll be like, hey, can I come? I'm like, yes, babe, I would love for you to come, because now I can train that behavior. Like, I would love for you to be there. because then you're going to get a positive affirmation from that, and it's going to make you go, okay, he really wants me to be there.
Right.
But that gives me a choice. It gives you a choice, and it allows us to have a discussion because love makes requests, not demands. If I'm like, get your shoes on, we're leaving. How does that make you feel versus, babe, I'm going to run to the camera store. You want to go with me?
Makes me.
Right. Right.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Yep. That last part is huge. And
Yeah.
it's true. I've never met a man who doesn't want their woman to make the choice to be there. If I was outside working in the garage, even if it was cleaning your motorcycle, right? Or changing your fucking oil on your bike, and I'm out there doing something and you came out and just sat on the toolbox and bullshitted with me for 2 hours while I was out there, it'd mean the world to me. That time alone while I'm doing something for you shows that you clearly want to be around me. What happened? Can we talk about what happened yesterday? Are you okay with that? Because you had a fucking day yesterday.
Okay, what point of yesterday?
All of it. Just, do I have free reign to
man.
get into yesterday?
Yes.
There,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes, okay.
Yesterday, I got a phone call. Yesterday, you were already in pain because of your toes. You wanted to take a bath, and I'm like, you need to take a bath, babe. And you're like, I can't because I'm afraid I'm going to slip and fall out of the bathtub. I'm like, so you just sit on the rail and like rotate, you know?
Yeah.
And we had that conversation, and I could tell that you were going through it emotionally, and like I kept telling you, like, babe, just let it out. Like, just, it's okay. Cry. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm here for you. I was getting your meds, taking care of you like a good little male nurse. You know, I'm trying to make sure that you have everything you need, ice packs, elevate your feet, the whole nine. And then I come to the studio because there's fucking 100 shirt orders that have to go out, and I'm trying to pack shirt orders, and I get a phone call, and you're fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I'm
Okay.
thinking you fell and
Well,
busted your head.
Before
or...
you get into that, I started doing laundry.
Okay.
And I was carrying the laundry basket
Yes.
to the laundry room, and I smacked my broken toes against one of the computer chairs that we use for poker.
Yep.
And I
Forgot
threw
about
the
that.
laundry basket. And I had a whole moment at the poker table losing my mind.
Yep.
And then me calling you hysterically happened like 3 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about the toes on the chair thing, which is one of those things that you didn't really need to be doing. Like, laundry could have waited, or you could have been like, hey, babe, laundry needs to be done. Can you take care of that? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because I don't mind doing laundry.
Right.
Laundry is the easiest chore in the house. So if you're ever like, can you do laundry? Be like, yeah, absolutely. I love to do laundry. I got to push 3 buttons and go fuck off for 2 hours. I got this. This is the perfect job for me because I can do a whole lot of other shit while doing laundry.
Yeah.
But you did. You had a meltdown over it. You were upset. You were obviously in pain, which I understand. And then while I'm here, I got the phone call. And I was thinking to myself, like, I heard the tears. And at first I was like, okay, she had a meltdown. And then you were like, I fell. And I'm like, oh God, oh my fucking God, are you okay? Like, instant panic. Like, thinking you were like, I hit that. And I'm like, every bad scenario in my head, like there's blood all over the bathroom. I was fucking panicking. And you're like,
Sorry.
I put a hole in the wall. I'm like, you're crying because you put a hole in my head. Like, I obviously didn't say this to you, but I'm like, you put a hole, you're crying like this because there's a hole in the wall.
Well, that and I was in pain.
Right. Well, and the pain is it's understandable. You broke your
Yeah.
foot. Like, I get it. And then you're like, I don't want you to be mad at me. I'm so sorry. And like in my head, I swear to God, I almost said to you, babe, this is a trauma response from your past life that you don't have to deal with me. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to do this to her right now. She's obviously upset. This is not the time because I hit you the other night with, hey, this is why we don't run in the house.
And my first thought was, leave me the fuck alone.
So I know that that's not the time to do that,
Yeah.
right? So I did it once this week. I've used that card. I got to wait a month before I can do that again. So I put that aside and figured I would throw that at you later.
Thank you.
But knowing that, like, it's not a big deal that there's a hole in the wall. Drywall patching is really fucking easy to do. And, like, that's something that most kids should learn as they're growing up because you are always going to put holes in the wall. Even if that just means you're hanging shit and there's like a fucking half-inch, drywall anchor in there that needs to be removed. You have to learn how to patch those things. So that whole, I don't even know why this got brought up.
I don't know either.
What were we talking about before I went on this tangent?
We were talking about the video and his wife.
Let me see if someone on TikTok caught it. Holy shit, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. He's sending like 300 flowers. Thank you.
Does anybody remember where this was going?
What the fuck were we talking
Or
about?
before I got into this, because it just totally derailed. My entire train of thought is wrecked.
When the fuck did we get ice cream?
Yeah, that's where my head is right now.
Somebody on TikTok said he likes when you want to be around. That's how it started.
That. Okay.
Okay.
So after you were having that meltdown and put the hole in the wall, my response to you was, babe, we don't have to record for another 2 hours. I have to finish packing these shirts up. Why don't you take your bath? Unless you just want to be around me, then you can come to the studio. That was my response to you.
That was the response.
And 5 minutes later, you were at the fucking door of the studio and like trying not to cry. And then that's where that slow dance TikTok came from, the whole nine. But that was that option. You wanted to be around me. You made the choice to be here when you could have went and taken a bath. Like, I got to be that support system for you because it was what you wanted. That's why that came up. Thank you, TikTok. Y'all are on your shit.
They are.
Ooh. Love that. All right, that's it on those. Let's see what we got for this Will and Jada thing. Do you want to? Oh, there's a video here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, it's The View. Blech.
Is it is it her interview though?
I don't know.
No, it's them reacting.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care enough about that.
I think you should listen to what she has to say though. If it's like reacting to what Jada says.
I would rather have bamboo shoots put under my toenails than watch The View.
Why would you say that?
Because
stop. No, I'm thinking about it.
The things that that tried to open a.
That did a thing.
It did a thing. That's definitely. He gave me the wrong link. Guess we're not watching that one. Works for me. Would you like to talk about that since you know what's going on with it?
I need a minute. My tism's doing something. I want to take my skin off.
That's funny.
Oh. My mind's just fucking going now. Like, my mind went straight to, like, torture methods. And I was like, would I be able to survive that? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too much. Okay. So, everyone is familiar with Jada Pinkett and her debauchery and Will Smith and his very devastated interview with her at her red table. I'm chuckling because this whole timeline of events is absolutely insane to me. So the table talk happened, I want to say 2018 or 2019. Can somebody pull that up? The slap happened 2 years ago in 2021. While we're waiting, everybody take a hit. When did the red table talk happen with Will Smith?
Guys, for everybody that has sent super chats, just know that we will be reading them live. We do a brief interruption. Somebody said 2019.
2019.
Yep.
Okay. So the red table talk happened in 2019 where they had this idea to sit down and talk about her entanglement with a gentleman, I believe his name is August. One of her son's friends who she was sleeping around with, which is an issue in and of itself. They sat down, she talked about her entanglement, her cheating, and Will was absolutely devastated. It became a meme. Everybody made fun of him. That man pretty much had to sit down and acknowledge the fact that he failed as a husband in front of the nation. Fast forward to 2021. I don't know if it was the Grammys or the Emmys.
Flash forwarding would technically be faster.
Right, because of the Flash.
Because of the Flash. Zoom!
Fuck boy. Flash forward to 2021. We're at the Grammys, the Emmys, whatever Hollywood award system is happening. Chris Rock is up on stage doing his thing as a comedian, roasting people, moves on to Jada Pinkett Smith, makes a G.I. Jane joke. She is not impressed, but as the camera's on them, we see Will Smith give a little bit of a chuckle.
Yeah.
Like he enjoyed that. He thought it was funny. And it pans back to Chris, and all of a sudden Will's walking up the stage, slaps him, screams from the crowd, "Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth." And about 3 days ago, Jada Pinkett Smith came forward and said that they have not been together since 2016.
All right, I have to correct you because the chat's correcting us.
Correcting me about
It was
what?
the Oscars and it was last year, not 2021.
Okay. The Oscars. Well, I was making things up, so it was some award thing. But 2022, so a year ago, makes it even worse. At this point, they've been separated since 2016. She said they've been separated for 2016. She specifically said apart.
Yeah.
That's how she described it. There is a certain obligation of people who are in the spotlight the way that they are to, I want to say, be authentic. You have all of this support from people. They're paying for your lifestyle. Without your fans, you have absolutely nothing.
That's true.
To lie since 2016 and put on this facade that you guys are married and you're working on things and all of that shit, even though we can clearly see it's not the case. What was the point of the lie? And what is the point of coming forward and admitting that it was a lie? Why didn't you say that at the Red Table Talk in 2019, 3 years after you guys already separated? Or how about in 2022, when Will Smith is belting, "Keep my wife's name"? At that point, you haven't considered yourself to be that man's wife in a very long time.
Right. But she still expected him to do something about it.
Right.
Well, can we talk about the fact that Will Smith is not a little man?
He's not.
No,
Like-
he's a big boy.
Right. And he's tall, he's got a good reach on him, and he's not little. Like, he's got muscle. And you see it in every movie he's in. He makes it a point to, like, show off his physique. And whether that's him getting in shape for the role and then getting out of shape, that muscle that lives underneath of your out of shape is always there.
Right.
And the fact that he smacked Chris Rock and Chris Rock took it, but you didn't smack him. You gave him a love tap. Like, I'm fairly certain that I've given you love taps on the booty harder than Will Smith smacked Chris Rock because
I believe that.
right. Because if somebody would have done that and I'd have open hand slapped him, he probably would have come off of his feet. Like,
Yeah, I imagine
Chris Rock
there
is
would
not a
be-
big dude. He's a little guy. I just don't.
Well, you know, the sad part is she thought it was scripted.
Yeah.
Like, she had come out and said in that interview, like, "Hey, I thought the whole thing was scripted."
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't either. But and then the other thing was in 2016, Chris Rock asked her out. Oh, there's
Did she say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a rumor going around, you know, back then.
Yeah.
And Chris Rock was like, "Hey, Jada, you want to go out sometime?"
I wonder if Chris Rock has said anything about that claim.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. I'm going to be honest. I don't believe anything that woman said. You guys have put on the facade of a marriage for almost 10 years. Like, talk about a lie to live.
Yeah.
And she overinflates her position in Tupac's life. I don't know about that. When it comes to the slap, like I said, Will clearly enjoyed the joke.
Yeah.
I think that there might have been a moment of him sitting there living in his reality of, that's not my woman. She hasn't been. That was a funny fucking joke. And then she gives him that look and he was like, oh shit, that's right. And has to make a point
Right.
to defend his woman.
Right. Because they're living a facade.
Right.
So, like, he's trying to keep up an image, which would explain why he didn't hit Chris Rock very hard, because it wasn't a genuine slap. It was
There was no emotion behind it.
Right. It was solely there to keep up a facade.
An obligatory slap.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to love this response. Y'all ready for this
All right.
one?
Sure.
Chris
Ready for
Rock,
this.
and I quote, "Keep my name out of your fucking mouth."
Good for him.
Yeah, dude.
That's exactly how I would have approached that.
Yep.
Yep.
Wild. Well, I mean, we got through a lot of what I wanted to get through in 30 minutes, and I still have the stats from the fatherless homes that we were going to get into this week from last week. Do you want to touch on that at all?
We can.
All right.
If you're still up for it.
I'm going to just read through some of these because I don't want to. And I think what I'm going to do is post the link in the chat first so that they can actually. Oh, hey, that's the wrong button. So that everybody can see where this is coming from, in case they want to actually read the full article. So that's in the chat. This is from May 15th of 2023, and it's by the American First Policy Institute. Fatherlessness and its effects on American society. Top line points. You want me to put it on the other screen so you can read it?
I'm focusing really hard on
All right.
listening.
Yeah, let's just do this.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, am I reading it?
Sure.
Okay. Just starting at the bullet points?
Yep.
All right. Across America, 2022 data indicates, there are approximately 18.3 million children who live without a father in the home, comprising about 1 in 4 U.S. children.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of fucking kids, yeah. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers. Children from single-parent families are twice as likely to suffer from mental health and behavioral problems as those living with married parents. My sister and I both had a rough fucking go when we got it on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah. A rough go at it. In one study, 70% of youth in state-operated facilities were from single-parent homes. State-operated facilities like juvie?
Yeah. Juvenile detention centers, halfway houses,
Okay.
addiction centers, anything that is considered a government-run program.
Okay. Children with an actively engaged father perform much better in school. Some data shows that they are 33% less likely to repeat a class and 43% more likely to get A's in school. In a study of 56 school shootings, only 10% of the shooters, 18%, were raised in a stable home with both biological parents. 82% grew up in either an unstable family environment or grew up without both biological parents together.
That's crazy when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. While divorce causes some single-parent households, approximately 40% of children are born to unwed mothers. For women under the age of 30, the demographic that bears 2/3 of children in general, the out-of-wedlock rate increased to 53%, while many unmarried women cohabitate with a partner at the time of giving birth, and these relationships fail at twice the rate of marriages.
Holy shit.
That's a hell of a stat, right?
It really is.
You want this one or you want me to do it?
Merely being physically present at home is not enough either. According to the founder of Mind Positive Parenting, David Walsh, data suggests that even for children with a father present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week in one-on-one conversations with his father.
Okay, pause that for a minute, because we know that you get less than 35 to 40 minutes a day with your kids, uninterrupted from devices, bath time, homework, whatever, right? So now we know that that's more from a mother's standpoint than from a dad's, because the dads are active for less than 30 minutes per week on one-on-one conversations a week.
It was 30 to 45 minutes a day. Is that just for women or?
Well, that was a parent statistic.
Okay.
They didn't say men or women.
So, okay. That's a devastating number.
That's shitty as fuck. Like, I spend more than 30 minutes a week taking a shit.
You take more than 30 minutes a day.
Shh. No, I don't.
You're right. He doesn't poop, guys.
It's TikTok time.
Is he the supreme leader now? He doesn't poop.
For comparison, the same boy on average will spend more than 40, potentially more than 60 for teenagers, hours per week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Another study from the National Bureau.
Skip past it. You're obsessing over the word, babe.
Of economic research found that on average, fathers spend only 1.83 hours per week engaging in recreational childcare and less than 7 hours a week on all childcare activities.
That's fucking horrible.
Data from the
Bureau of Labor Statistics
shows that fathers spend on average only 1 hour a day in total caring for and helping household children, which includes 0.05 hours of a day reading to / with them. That's not even 30 minutes.
No, it's not.
That's 15 minutes.
Yep.
I take an hour to read to our children.
Every night.
That's crazy.
And when I'm requested, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
but that's mommy kid time. So like I don't get involved in that unless I'm requested. And there have been times where you read and they're like, okay, now pops. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
You do the voices better than I do.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird because I'm normally not comfortable doing that shit, which is why I never did voices when I played D&D.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why you enjoyed my bard so much?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was a whole lot of freedom and comfort and like, yeah, you own that shit. It was dope.
Hell yeah.
The effects of broken families have been staggering. Children from fatherless homes fare far worse in overall well-being and mental and behavioral health. These children are often burdened with lower self-esteem, and they do not understand why their fathers abandoned them. This leads to a number of emotional problems like anxiety, social withdrawal, and depression. It also leads to an increased risk of suicide and other forms of self-harm. Some data suggests that 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes, and 85% of children who exhibit behavioral disorders from fatherless homes are from fatherless homes. This goes on and on. The reason that I wanted to pull this up is because we constantly hear women say, I am a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man.
I can do everything the dad can.
Yeah. Well, you may not need a man, but your fucking kids do. I really want you guys to let that sink in. I understand that there's a lot of shitty fucking men out there who don't want to be present in their kids' lives, but there are a lot of men out there who would kill to have their fucking kids in their lives that are not able to be parents because there's some sort of like grudge that you can't get over. I don't care if he cheated. I don't care if there was, video game escapism or whatever the fuck was going on. If he wasn't abusing your child and he wants to be a part of that kid's life, you not letting him be there is doing that child a disservice.
Yeah.
And the stats back that up. Yep.
It's crazy to think about those statistics because it's all true.
Yeah.
Like, my dad left when I was super young. So it was me, my sister, my mom. There were multiple
Go to her.
unalive attempts. There was a lot of self-harm. It's crazy. What are you doing?
Your camera's crooked and it's fucking driving me nuts.
Okay.
Does that look straight to you? Look at me.
No.
More?
Bring it down that way. That looks good.
It looked like a car with a flat tires. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, and the mental disorders. My sister has bipolar, type 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And I have borderline.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you really think about it. Somebody said that's false. I don't agree with that statement. I believe a healthy male is absolutely needed. I don't know if I missed something.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It was when you were talking about I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man.
Oh, yeah. So they were agreeing with me. Got it.
All right. I'm ending TikTok. If you guys would like to continue watching, head over to YouTube channel number 2, Be Better on YouTube. Thank you guys for being on here tonight.
All right. So let me get over into Patreon so that I can find the super chats. Zach, if you're in here, if you can post those, that would be gangster. I don't even know where the super chat channel went. All right, let's see. Hopefully he got them. What do you think about 2 lesbian women intentionally having kids, or 2 guys for that matter? I think that biology determines that 2 women and 2 men cannot have kids. They can adopt kids.
Yeah, they certainly can adopt children.
Yeah. But you need one of each gender for that to actually work out, unless I misread that in health class. I could be wrong. As for the roles, I think the important thing in that stats is that you need 2 parents. And I would also like to point out that masculine and feminine energy is more prevalent in the gay community than it is in the heterosexual community.
It is.
That's why you have the roles that they have. So if you have a very masculine lesbian, she can play that role to the best of her ability. But having that is going to be able to have somebody there to get both of their needs filled. You'll have the nurture and you'll have the masculine. And I think that that dynamic still gets met. Zach said I tagged you in Discord. Dope. There we go. All right, some super chats. You want me to put these over to you, babe?
Yes, please.
All right. Bloop.
We met your mom on Discord. She's super nice and sounds like an amazing woman. I just want to say we love her and you guys.
All right, so for those of you who were part of the Zoom call where she came on, starting next week, we are going to have a segment that's 15 to 30 minutes that drops every Sunday that is scripture. Mm-hmm. Because my mom is super religious and she knows the Bible very well, and we are both Christians, followers of Christ. So we decided, because there's a lot of requests for it, that we were going to get my mom to do some sort of scripture breakdown that we can throw up for Sunday content. So for those of you who are into that, it'll be there. And for those of you who aren't, it'll be a Sunday drop. You can ignore it if that's what you choose to do.
Mm-hmm. The hidden. What's the difference between anxiety and fear? I hear a lot of Americans say my anxiety, this and that. Can you maybe explain the difference between them? Because we don't use that vocab.
Would you like to touch on that?
Fear for me is like running through that haunted house. Like that's true fucking fear right there. Like my life is in danger, not really. But that is that moment of I am not thinking, my body's just reacting. And anxiety, that's like that looming. I can't explain it. It's a different emotion and feeling from fear. It's not an emotion, but It's a different feeling from fear.
I think anxiety is a physiological response to us overanalyzing things.
Yeah.
It's basically us making ourselves feel that fear because things don't try to kill us like it used to. That used to be a defense mechanism. If you were laying around a campfire and you heard a fucking twig snap and it sounded like a big ass creature, you woke the fuck up. Like that's your anxiety telling you, hey, you're not safe. We don't have that anymore. So now we have to make up scenarios to make us feel like we're not safe, to like still feel that need in us over 100,000 years of being chased by shit that's trying to kill us. But I agree in that they are pretty much the same thing. All right.
From Janae, there is a podcast. Oh, there is this podcast that encourages self-care. I think it's called To Be Better or something. A day off is good for you. By extension, good for us. Please at least get a couple of hours of downtime.
Damn.
I'll rest when I'm dead.
We'll rest probably tomorrow.
No, tonight when we get home, I would love for you to rub my feet, but I hate that you can't.
I can rub everything but your broken area. I'll rub your feet. I don't give a fuck about that. I just be gentle around your toe.
Okie dokie. From Sabrina. Peaches, remember when you mentioned in our interview you were writing an email to them, but y'all got pulled over during that?
Oh, man.
Damn, she just brought that up.
She did get... This will be a funny story later. It's still not a funny story.
I mean, you told it and you were laughing.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was not funny when it happened, though.
No, in the moment, I felt like absolute shit. That was rough.
Yeah.
From Lorraine, hope you have utensils for your DoorDash tonight. Say we don't know you without saying we don't know you. We do have utensils.
I put them in your purse.
I put them in my purse. You just handed them to me.
Hold on, there's a new one to add to that, y'all.
Oh.
They gave the straw but forgot the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
They gave me the straw but did not give me the drink. And like I was aware that they didn't give me the drink because I had the food and no drink. But when I opened that bag and saw the straw, I was like, you fuckers. Did that shit on purpose.
Well, we have some time. Do you want to just random Q&A some shit?
Yes.
Can you guys touch on transgender men? I'm sorry, that's not really my thing. I'm not trying to touch on anyone. I have a woman that I love very much, and that's the only thing I'm touching on. Caroline said the best way to explain it is fear is survival and anxiety is fear placed in the wrong place. Anxiety for me is like a trauma response of being put in dangerous thoughts and places. Ooh, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good.
That is good,
That was
yeah.
a good one. Why is it always carbs, mashed potatoes, and cheese fries? How can I eat like you and look like you? I don't know about. I look like a fucking. I am not okay right now, guys.
Yeah.
I am about 40 pounds overweight from the way that we've been eating. This time last year, I could see my abdominal muscles. Now all I can see is the tip of my penis when I look down. And it's not even all of it. It's just like a little bit. Like I can barely see my toes wiggling. It is time to go on a diet. There's a YouTube violation.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
It was comedy. It was for a joke. I've seen much worse on this app. Just let it ride, guys.
I don't eat a lot. So when I do eat, it's shitty food that I'm craving because I'm overly stressed out and I'm emotional eating, which you should never do. But because I'm not eating so much, my stomach has shrunken a lot. So when I do have food in front of me, I take maybe 4 or 5 bites. And because my stomach is so small currently, if I eat more, my stomach gets upset and I start feeling nauseous. So my eating habits are certainly not healthy right now.
Yeah, we are working on that. All right, Tara, you have sent Hebrews 12:1 multiple times tonight.
What's that?
Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. But that's been posted several times in the chat, so I'm acknowledging it so that can stop. What book would you recommend on leadership and becoming a better leader? Oh man, there's a lot of them.
Don't we have a recommended book list?
We do. I wonder did I do the chat thing?
I think you
that an
did.
option? Let's see if that works. Boom.
Hey.
There's the books. I work at a dispensary and I've noticed so many people have lost their appetite. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
No, that's not how it works for me.
Right. I've never once been like medicated. Man, I'm just not hungry. I'm like, do they make those little Christmas tree snacks year round? Like, all right, let's scroll. Let's see what we got. Oh, man.
Now you got me thinking about Christmas tree and Little Debbie's.
I love zebra cakes.
Ooh. Yeah. Have you had zebra cakes ice cream?
What?
Yes. Stop. It's a thing. It's a thing. And it's great.
Is that Publix?
Walmart.
Walmart. Okay.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I'd rather know that than go to Publix and be like, what the fuck? Steve lied.
They have Star Crunch.
Okay.
Okay. Nutty Buddy.
Stop.
Zebra cakes. And Swiss roll. Yeah.
Funny Bones is where it's at.
Shopping.
I did not see that as an ice cream, but those are great too.
Caroline Elder said my favorite reads is Atomic Habits right now. It's a really good book. Atomic Reads is a good one. Man Up by Bedros Killian is a really good book. What else? That John Deloney book is a really good one. I don't know. I've ingested so much right now that all my books are blending together, and I've had to take a break. I actually listened to music yesterday for the first time in probably 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a painting, absolutely gorgeous. It's like the Sahara in Africa, very nicely done. And right smack in the middle of it is a zebra cake. I would spend a lot of money on that painting. Seeing it made me so happy.
I can't even. Now I want it. I'm looking this up. I gotta see it.
You need to see it. It's very nice.
Somebody asked me to scroll up to look for a question. I'm not doing that. I will pick things as we run through here, guys, but for me to sit here and scroll the chat means that I have to take my attention away from everything else that's happening.
Right.
And I'm just not willing to do that. So I'll catch what I catch, and what I don't, I don't. If you really want to get it read, send anything in a super chat. That's the easiest way to make sure your shit gets read. Oh, look at that. There's a super chat. If you could talk to a demon, would you take it? And what would you talk about? No, I wouldn't. Because fuck that. Good on that.
I've talked to a demon. I'm good on that shit.
Miss me with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
I had I'm going to tell you guys a story. So I lost a pregnancy, and the night before I lost it, I had a nightmare. And in this nightmare, I was running through hell, and there was this black demon chasing me, and I hid behind a rock, and like I remember my body being pushed up against it, and it was hot. I woke up and I was drenched in sweat. And in the dream, I was like, okay, I got away. He's not going to find me. And all of a sudden, this demon's in my face. And I'm sobbing. I'm like, please, I'm pregnant. And he was like, not anymore. And I woke up, and the next day I lost the pregnancy.
Damn.
I'm fucking good on that.
All right. Peaches, I would love some info on your hair. Do you do it yourself, bleach, dye? How often? I have split dye too, and I'm trying to learn more about how I could maintain it like you do. Love y'all.
I do my own hair. I don't like people touching me.
Liar.
People. You are excluded from people. I do my hair about every 3 months. I will do a touch-up about 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks, I'll do a touch-up on just pink. So all over the head is pink. And then once my roots are about an inch or two grown in, I bleach. Do the whole thing. It's like a 6-hour process. But yeah. And I use Manic Panic and whatever black hair dye I can find that day.
It's always interesting when you do your hair.
Why?
Because it's always a big wet bun on both sides.
Yeah. And my eyebrows are super thick with dye.
Yep. Lewis said, I love your message. I love everything you are doing. I've lost 60 pounds in the last year. Lewis, you are a fucking badass. The most I've ever lost in a year was 120 pounds, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. You're a gangster. Ginger said, Peaches, do you find that you or your son need more reminders due to your ASD? I'm asking because my son has ASD and needs constant reminders. I'm going to answer this real quick while you think about, because you didn't answer right away, so I'm assuming you're processing that. I don't think that you guys can relate every single person who has a label as the same.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So if your son has that specific thing, that's just that specific thing. You don't get frustrated about it. You just accept that he needs those reminders and help remind him gently. Like, we have borderline, and our borderline doesn't present the same way. Like, it's a broad spectrum diagnosis. It's not, one size fits all kind of thing.
Everybody in my household needs constant reminders.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So,
I have to set reminders on my phone for everything.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. To just put it underneath the umbrella and name it that thing. People with OCD need reminders of shit.
Right.
So.
Jamie asked what eyeliner you use.
I have no idea. It was a Christmas gift.
Well, there you go. Fucking keep that shit simple. Lewis, the kid that sent that, said he lost 160 pounds, says, I was at 405 at my heaviest, and I'm 260 now. That's gangster.
Good
I love
for
that.
you.
I love everything about that. Simply Haley said, every autistic person is different, same as every person in general is different. Sure, you can relate to a lot of things, but it's definitely individual. My alarms have like 30 alarms. Fucking Danish. Go ahead.
I thought that was just a my wife thing.
Oh, the alarms?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What are some good tips to maintain a relationship when you grow up without a dad and a mom staying with an abusive man? Without a dad, period, or comma, so that I know to pause there, and a mom staying with abusive men. Watch our podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
Watch the Gentleman episode. And ingest as many books as you can about being a leader, because there's a difference between being a leader and a boss. And How More on Leadership. There's a great book. He was written by the guy that Mel Gibson played in We Were Soldiers. That's Hal Moore.
I would also recommend watching episode 11.5, the first one on the dating playlist.
That's a good one. Yep. Kaylee said, Chris, how did you find your faith again? My husband is trying to find his faith again, but has so many questions about the history and is struggling to believe. Oh man. So I grew up not religious, had a stint of religion in my teenage years, early 20s, and then had no faith until around the time of Hurricane Ian. And there's always been that, like, I have a relationship with God kind of thing, but I didn't want to label any of it. Like, if I really truly needed to pray or be grateful for something, I would. But I wasn't reading the Bible. I wasn't taking in sermons. I wasn't doing anything religious other than talking to God when I needed to talk to God. Mm-hmm. And then the hurricane happened, and that fucking hurricane could have destroyed everything. And we had the area that we lived in, everyone that we knew had major damage from the hurricane. We had people that lost their homes, people that had their houses ripped off, people that have, lost their cars. It just everything. And we had no damage.
Well, our street was also flooded to the point that nobody could drive down it.
We could.
So we had no idea
Yeah.
even what our house looked like. We had to drive, 4 or 5 hours back?
Yep.
And the whole time we had no idea if we were going to be walking into devastation.
Yeah. So to answer your question, there are a few things. My mom in her prayer circle prayed over our house. And though we did have an oak tree, a big fucking oak tree come down, it just scratched some of the shingles off. Mm-hmm. And they replaced my whole roof over it. I lost a single solar panel.
The lid to our salt.
Yeah, the lid to our salt tank. Otherwise, nothing happened to our property. We left toys on the porch.
And they were not moved.
Not at all. Like, they could have become projectiles, and we have big bay windows on our back of the house. They could have went through the windows. It would have been very easy for that to happen. Our screens were intact. No flooding, no roof damage, no rain in the house. Everything worked. We came home and the solar was still working. Mm-hmm. So that was a huge thing because we caught a miracle on that. I also contribute my faith to Peaches coming back into my life or coming into my life. Like, there were things that I needed and I prayed about it and God answered those prayers. So, like, this is one of those things that for me was not a, you're supposed to have faith because you don't know. Mm-hmm. Because that's the difference between faith and belief, or whatever, like faith and fact. But I've seen the miracles. Like, I've seen them. I've seen people be healed. Like, there's not a question for me. So it's not faith anymore. To me, it's fact. And you know what I mean? Like, you can argue the Bible if you want. You can argue the faith aspect of it if you want, because I'm not super knowledgeable in it. Mm-hmm. But the fact is there because I've seen the miracles myself. So, like, miracles. So for me, that's the answer to that. Julie said, I'm with Danny. My alarms have alarms too. Scrolling back up. Alex said, my fiance comes from a background where corn is normalized. He can't wrap his head around how it could be an issue. How to gently help educate him? Why are you trying to educate him instead of letting him know how it makes you feel and having a discussion about it? And if it's a problem for you and he knows it's a problem for you and he loves you, he should want to correct that problem. And if he doesn't love you enough to want to correct that problem, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. If I was perfectly okay with something and Peaches said, hey, this bothers me, and I went, doesn't bother me, go get fucked. Do you think that we would have the relationship we have? Or do you think me going, well, why does it bother you? And then you explain it to me like, okay, babe, I can see that this is now a problem. I'm going to try to make sure that this doesn't become a thing for you because you matter more to me than XYZ. Mm-hmm. Like, isn't that just like normal communication?
Why is my vape not working?
I don't know. Isabel sent us $1 with no text. And that's all of our super chats.
Well, that sucks.
Lewis said, I'd drop anything my SO asked me to. We'd have a convo about it and I'd drop it on a dime. Unfortunately, I'm single. Well, that sucks, but keep that mentality. That sounded like Michael Myers' face. Yeah,
it is.
That was awesome.
He's coming.
I just had a fucking heart attack.
Yep.
Heather Brewer said, unpopular opinion, people don't want to cheat, but cheat because they feel neglected. Oh, this was part of the conversation that we were supposed to be having, which Zach sent to me in a screenshot. Let me see if I can find that.
I'm so glad that happened while I'm sitting in a room with 2 men.
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely terrified sitting at home by myself hearing that shit.
Okay, so she posted the other day that unpopular opinion. People don't want to cheat, but cheat because they feel neglected. And a lot of people fucking were like up in arms over that. There's a truth to that.
There is a truth.
Even
to
if you don't like what's being said there, I would say that even though there's a choice that is made because you are actively making a choice to do those things, at a base level, everyone wants to feel wanted.
Right.
They want to feel like they fucking matter to their person. They want to be desired, fawned over. They want gifts given to some degree. You know what I mean? Like for me, the notes, that's a gift. And those are gifts that I'm very happy taking. If you were to buy me something that like, it wouldn't be the same thing as having that note. I'm going to plug the garden.
Okay.
Last night when Wakenya was here, she said that the gifts that Scott buys her are gifts that makes her feel cherished. And I wrote it down, right? Because like that's a fucking statement. There's a difference between buying something for somebody just to flex.
Right.
I bought you that new whatever because I got money versus I saw this and was thinking about you. Here's a card. I love you because you feel cherished in that moment. Forehead kisses make you feel cherished in the moment. That shit hit me hard last night. So while I'm editing it today, like I'm making notes because like I want to get this clip so that I can actually stick that to TikTok because that is a very real thing. That's what people want. People want to matter to their person. A lot of us live a life where we feel like if we're going to be alone, we might as well be alone. And if we are underappreciated and we don't feel like we fucking matter anymore, and that love isn't there, that bond isn't there, you become disconnected. Which is why there are so many people who are okay with fucking cheating because they are disconnected from their person. And you can be disconnected emotionally from somebody and still have a whole lot of other shit going on in your life where you guys have intertwined things happening, right? So I actually agree with Heather on that point. And that's why I wanted her to bring it back up because as people were ripping her apart in the comments, I actually agree with that. Yes, it is a fucking choice, but you're not fucking wrong because if all of the needs are being met in the house, 99% of the time, the people who are cheating are not looking for that extra attention. That extra step's not there. If I'm being fed, I'm not looking at the menu, right? Like it's just one of those things. I'm satiated. I've eaten until I'm sick. I don't need any more. I have it. And that's where that line gets crossed, that makes you feel like you don't matter anymore. I agree with that. The other thing was Stormy Seas said, do you think if we had a 4-day work week that provided people to be home more, that the cheating number of affairs at work would go down because we know that 90% of infidelity happens in the workplace? You want to read that so that you can take that in?
Oh, I did.
Okay. Well, you gave me that look, so I wasn't sure. $50 super chat. I will get to that super chat as soon as I'm done with this little blurb. What do you think about the 4-day work week? Do you think that would decrease cheating?
No.
Why?
Because the 2 days that they're already home, it's a war.
There you go.
Adding on another day of fights. I'm good.
That's it. People are already using escapism.
Yeah.
They're in relationships with people that they don't know how to communicate with and they're fucking miserable. So they use escapism when they're home. They drink, they go to the gun range, they go to the bar, they play video games, they sit in the garage and listen to music and tinker with shit, even though there's nothing really to tinker with.
Right.
They don't do the honey-do list because fuck them. Like,
yeah, the problem's not the working aspect. The problem is the home aspect.
it's the relationship. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I fucking saw that and I was like, oh, that's a conversation that needs to be had. I think that having that extra time would be good for some people because there are those people out there who miss their person. But I think that most of those people already have their relationship shit figured out and know how to communicate that. And the ones who don't are fighting because they already don't know how to communicate. Like the extra day off is just going to make that worse because until they figure out how to talk to each other, that extra time off just adds to the anxiety of being home. I know a lot of men who go, well, I guess I'm going to go home now. And like, you can fucking tell they don't want to be there. We see it. People find reasons to hang out. Like they were like, oh, I get off work at 5 and they stay at work and hang out in the shop until 7:30 at night because they know that if they get home at 8, everyone's going to bed and they can fuck around on their phone for a few minutes and then go straight to bed. They don't have to deal with anything. They're escaping their responsibilities, however that looks. All right. Read the $50 super chat first, and then we'll get to the other super chats. Tony said, Tony, I packaged one of your hoodie blanket thing today, just so you know. Having an appetite issue currently, my husband seems to think I am being dramatic about it when I struggle to eat. Something more than soup or a protein drink. What is a good way to talk to him about this? He thinks it's all in my head. It could be all in your head. However, that is how eating disorders happen, right? So I would approach it from that standpoint. I would tell him, like, look, I'm having whatever I'm having right now that's making me not very hungry. I'm having a hard time holding food down. And in the event that you shame me into eating and you're forcing this to happen, this is actually how eating disorders start. Like, you are going to shame me into an eating disorder. I got to be honest, I would get blood work done. You could have something going on in your side of your body that's making it hard for you to hold food down. There's a whole lot of unknowns in that. It could simply be stress. Stress makes me not eat. I don't want food. Like, I'm too busy worrying about whatever to fucking sit down and actually eat something. That it happens. You need to figure out more of the why and less about what's going on with your husband, because you could have something going on inside of your body. Is it bad for a lesbian to go into her masculine? Is going against your gender role only negative within heterosexual relationships? That's the question.
No. I think if you're a woman and you're in a relationship and you're comfortable being in that masculine role, be it. Do I think that there are some lesbian women out there who are in that masculine role and hate being in it? Yeah. So it depends on the person that you are and what dynamic you thrive in.
She said, is going against your gender role only negative within heterosexual relationships? I wonder if that's because we talk about men being in their masculine and women being in their feminine so much.
I don't know. I mean, we have talked about women being the head of household and the dad staying home, taking care of the children and whatnot.
Right.
If that's the dynamic that works, that's the dynamic that works. Who gives a fuck what we think about it?
You ain't wrong. Miranda said, watching To Be Better and wedding planning no better way. Teddy said, can a relationship heal after infidelity?
Yeah, I believe it can. It will take time, and both of you have to accept that there was damage done. And if you're the one forgiving, you have to accept that forgiveness. You can't throw shit in their face 2 years down the road because you think of something that makes you upset. Why are you just looking at me?
Because I'm processing and I'm trying to remember verbatim, and I don't think I'm going to, so I'm going to look something up real quick. No, I'm not, because I don't feel like doing that right now. Megan, the Recover Your Power chick that's coming to the podcast in November, had actually made it. She stitched one of our TikToks about cheating. And she said that in order for that to happen, you have to completely forgive. You have to get over all of it, because if you can't get over all of it and you can't truly let go of the betrayal that comes along with that, you will never heal from that. And you will never be able to like bounce back in your marriage. We know that there are books written on this. There are women who have said, what was it? Recovering Her Trust. Was that the name of the book? It's on our
Earning Her Trust.
Earning Her Trust. Yeah?
Something like that.
It's on our reading list. But there is a book on there that's talking
Deserving of her trust?
I don't know. It's something like that. It's something of her trust. It's on our reading list, but it says on there specifically, like in that book, she said that my husband cheating on me was the best thing that ever happened to our marriage. And like, that's such a wild thing to hear, but it took a decade and they're closer now than they ever would have been, because you don't know how an action is going to affect you until you do it. You know what I mean? So like, you can't learn that lesson until you're in a position to feel what it feels like to be the person that does or receives those actions. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's important. Tony for $20 said, working on it. The doctors have been dragging their feet. I have talked about this in the Discord a bit. I got to be honest, I have not had a whole lot of time for Discord lately, and I even missed the man meeting today, so I don't know. Ooh. Blue Iris said, how long should it take to forgive infidelity in a relationship or marriage?
There's no timeline on that.
Why not? Come on, babe. One size fits all.
No, it's not how that works.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That book is called Worthy of Her Trust.
Worthy of her.
Thank
trust.
you, Jordan. So what does that look like for you then?
What do you mean?
I would like to talk about that.
Okay.
How long should it take to forgive infidelity in a relationship / marriage? What does that look like for you? Because I also think that it's important to notice the difference between a relationship and a marriage, because it's not the same thing.
I've left people for cheating on me.
Right.
If it came down to us and you cheated on me, speaking specifically in our marriage, it's because I was lacking as your wife. And I would know that it's not just a you problem. You're not the only one who's fucked up in this scenario. Like, that's a very far extreme for you to go to. So there would be a lot of self-hatred. What?
I want to know why you feel that way.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, everything you just said.
Because of the way that we work on things in our marriage.
Okay.
We have conversations about things and gentle reminders about things. So for there would have to be multiple conversations before it ever coming to that point. And for it to get to that point, that clearly shows that I didn't give a fuck about whatever you were saying, because what's the point of wasting your breath if it's falling on deaf ears?
I think that's really. Can you say that again? Because can you go further into that? That's super important. Oh my God, is that fucking important? Every man in the chat right now is going, why don't they get this? In their head right now, you motherfuckers are going, she gets it. How is this so hard to understand? She fucking gets it. Elaborate on that, please.
Okay. The wasting your breath?
Yes.
Okay. Women hate nagging. I can't believe I had to tell him this over and over and over again. Men feel that way too.
Yes, we fucking do.
But men also get to the point to where they recognize that they are not being heard, so what is the point of even bringing it up anymore?
Yep.
Women also get to that point. I recognize it does just take a little bit longer for women to go, okay, I'm fucking done.
Right, but when that happens, normally the relationship's over with.
Right.
You guys will end the shit at that point. We just let it go and go, this is just the way our life is. We accept that this is the way our life is going to be moving forward. Mm-hmm. This point is moot. I'm not going to bring it up again because she doesn't give a shit enough about the way I feel to change. So we go, okay, mental check mark. This is the new normal for us. And we move on with our fucking life and we stay together, living like that because that's what we expect to be the norm. When I come to you with a problem and I go, babe, this is really bothering me, and we have a discussion as to why it's bothering me, you then have a decision to make. You can go, this really upset my husband. Whether it's something he did or something that I did, there has to be some sort of a change that has to happen to ensure that he no longer feels this way, right? And we have those discussions and changes are made on both our parts. We come to a agreement or resolution of some sort and life moves on. But change happens. Once that resolution is confirmed, we start making changes to make sure these things never happen again. That is healthy communication. That is success in a relationship of any type. If your best friend came to you and said, I don't like it when you do this shit, you are more likely to adapt to what your best friend needs than you are to your partner.
Yes.
That's why people have relationships with their best friends that last 50 fucking years and can't stay in a relationship for more than 6 months. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot that goes into that. That's a very deep thing. So for you to understand that and lay everything out the way that you just did, aside from it getting you a fuck ton of hate, because people are going to hate you for saying that, well, if he cheated, it's not your fault, it's his. He shouldn't have done that. The actualization, the self-awareness to know, like, we have structure in our relationship and we have boundaries that are adhered to, and there would be enough red flags going that we would want to correct the things that are going on to not get to that point, regardless of saying, well, you should never cheat, you should just leave. You can hypothetical all you fucking want. Anyways, that is the answer to your question, or to my question. That's a fucking huge statement. There's a validation in that for men, for me that I've never got to experience before. You know how fucking wild it is to come to you with a problem and it not be weaponized or disregarded like it doesn't fucking matter? That's huge. Most men will never understand that. And then women will be like, well, you need to be vulnerable, which is not the right fucking word for that. But they want their man to be vulnerable. And then when he does, it's ignored. It's not reciprocated. It's weaponized. And we're the fucking problem for coming to you with our issues because, well, what about me? I feel like blah, blah, blah. So for me to have that with you, I believe everything that you laid out there. So we didn't even answer the question about.
I don't even remember. What
the
question
original
was.
question is how long should it take for a relationship or a marriage to overcome infidelity? So in the event that happened and you were to be like, well, it was obviously something that I did or something that I overlooked, or it was something that could have been changed on my part. In the event that there was actually cheating, how does that look for you? What would the steps be? How about that? Because that's probably a little more realistic of a question.
There would be, I would recluse.
Yeah?
Yeah. There would be a period of me processing and getting my emotions out. There would be an acceptance that it happened, and there would have to be an acceptance that I pushed it to happen. There would be a lot of dissection of the conversations that we had and a lot of connecting the dots of what led up to it, what I could have done differently, what I need to do going forward. There would not be a lot of like sexual intimacy, but there would still be like the romance and the touches and the whatnot. There would still be that underlining
Intimacy
there. I would feel like an absolute failure as a wife. I would.
You know that by not pulling back all of the intimacy and only pulling back the sexual intimacy, there would be an ability to heal that otherwise I don't think would be there. I think that if you removed all touches, all intimacy, and that constant reminder of, oh God, they really fucked up, or I really fucked up, or whatever, like I think that would be a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that would delay the healing process. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I envision that there would be a lot of crying from both of us.
Yeah.
There would be there would have to be individual healing alongside of the healing of the marriage. And I imagine that would be different for the both of us because you now have to deal with the fact that you made a choice that you know long-term is going to hurt me. You also have to process the fact that I didn't give enough of a fuck about you that became a thing.
Right.
I think that you would move on from it faster than I would. I think it would definitely take months to get to that point. Every day would get a little bit better. There would be harder days than others. There would definitely be no screaming, no yelling. If I'm hurt, I'm going to tell you I'm fucking hurting. Like, I thought of this today and now I'm a mess. And there would be conversations about it. It would never turn into an argument. I wouldn't blame you for it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Okay, I'm going to move on because there's a lot of super chats that are backed up. That could have been a whole R&R. Like, we could do a whole fucking 45-minute to an hour and a half conversation on that. Tony said, working on it. The doctors have been dragging their feet. Oh, that was a Discord one. I read that one. Clary became an exclusive live stream member. Thank you for that. Alex Smiley said, Corn clarification. It's not an existing issue for us. He respects where I stand on it. He just doesn't grasp the overall how it can harm relationships and interaction, etc., statistics and such. Well, luckily there's Google. And you can read all of the scientific studies that show that it actually changes the structure of the brain. Mm-hmm. It affects dopamine responses. We've done episodes on that. Like, we actually have episodes on it. And if he doesn't want to read because reading's boring, find the episode on corn addiction and watch it. It's one of the side pieces. Oh man, it jumped. Lorraine said, is there truly a lack of what isn't being met, or could it be that men just stray because they are born to breed with more than one person? This is what I've been told from a former partner. We are supposed to go forth and be fruitful. and multiply. I don't remember anywhere in my faith where it's like go out and have a bunch of babies with a bunch of different women. Even in the story of Abraham, where God made a covenant with Abraham, then told him that he was going to have children, even though he was old as fuck. And he strayed from that. He still managed to go back to his wife and have a child. Like, you are supposed to bear fruit and be fruitful. You are supposed to multiply. Like, that's part of the whole purpose of us existing. But that doesn't mean that it's supposed to be with one person. Where the fuck does that come from? If there are animals that mate for life, why can't we?
Mm-hmm. They have more primal instincts than we do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that comes down to us being emotional creatures and not getting our needs met. I think that falls right back into what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. I think that people get bitter towards their person and are tired of not being heard, and the intimacy dies. And I don't mean the sexual intimacy, although that obviously fucking dies way before the regular intimacy does. If we went 3 months with no play, that would suck. But if I still got touches, intimacy in the kitchen, you still made it a point to slow dance with me and like put your feet on me and lay on my chest every night, and we have the stupid conversations, I could accept that. It would suck. Mm-hmm. And eventually be like, all right, like something's got to give here. But that intimacy, that non-sexual intimacy is going to let me know that I am still loved. Like that's a lot. That goes a long fucking way for people. And I know you feel the same way because you've actually said the same thing to me. Mm-hmm. All right. How about this one?
Oh, you're waiting for me to read it?
Yeah.
From Isabel, do you and Peaches have any daily habits, traditions, or affirmations that help cultivate intimacy between each other?
Well.
Okay. You've been doing so good at answering everything.
Well, and that's why I'm trying to pass things off, because I've been talking a lot and I feel like I don't want to do that anymore.
We do. Every single morning before we start our day, no matter who's up first, we stop what we're doing and make it a point to say good morning and give each other a kiss. Mm-hmm. I myself make it a point to tell my husband one thing that I appreciate about him every day. At night, we lay down and cuddle. We pregame going to bed by sitting on the couch. And I get to fall asleep.
Okay, there you go. Right, by me sitting on the couch and you sleeping on the couch.
I get nice and comfy under my blanket and I put my feet on your lap. Yeah. And I rest. I sleep for like an hour and a half. And then you shake me awake and you're like, come on, let's go to bed. And I'm like, okay.
There's more than that. There's the coming and going. In the event that one of us leaves, we kiss before we leave. We kiss when we come back. There's intentional touching. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't just walk by each other. Sometimes it's a walk by and an ass slap. Sometimes it's a walk by and a back touch. Sometimes I'll grab you as you're walking by and yank you to me to caveman you for a moment just to let you know who's in charge. But there is a whole lot that goes into that. That is the constant reminders that is necessary to keep intimacy alive in a relationship.
Yeah. When you're sitting at your computer chair, I come in, I rub your shoulders.
Yeah. Or we'll come and sit next to me.
Yeah. I do that too. I'll pull up a computer chair and sit next to you. When you're standing in the kitchen, like taking your pills or whatever you do, I rest my head on your back.
Yep. Hold hands in the car. Well, it's underneath of the arm. You hold my arm in the car.
I also like holding your pinky.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That intimacy shit is easy, guys. You just got to, find out what your person likes and continue to do it. Oh, man. We have 30 minutes until we have to go live on Patreon.
Okay.
Would you like to wrap this up and take a quick break?
Yes.
Okay. With that being said, guys.
One more super chat.
Did I miss one?
Mm-hmm. Liz Rogue.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Do you think it's possible to have a good relationship with someone who has narcissistic characteristics? Everyone on the planet has narcissistic characteristics.
Yeah.
Google narcissism and survival. I'm curious when people say that. Okay, so when I hear narcissists, I hear you don't have a way to describe the things that you don't like what your person's doing, so you use a blanket statement or a blanket name label to discuss that. Mm-hmm. So if he actually has diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder that is very different than somebody who is slightly self-centered or vain or just inconsiderate. There could be a whole lot of things that are going on there that do not fall into the narcissistic personality disorder on the extreme. I think that any extreme to some point is a bad thing. But I think in this scenario, to not recognize that everyone is narcissistic to an extent, because we would be dead if we weren't, is foolish to me. Mm-hmm. Now, are you an empath? Because if you're an empath, that could create a whole lot of problems. You are going to attract people who have more narcissistic tendencies than not. And that's something to take into consideration. I would definitely Google that, though. Vanessa Ruiz says, I'll receive the blanket hoodie by my birthday. Well, you will if I get them out in the mail by Monday. Your box is done. It's sitting in the hallway. But I ran out of tape, and I have like 8 more that need to be mailed out. So I hope you get it by your birthday. That would be gangster. Jenny said, as someone who spends time with a diagnosed narcissist, I promise it's not what you think. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We will see you on the next one. For those of you who are in Patreon Discord, we'll be seeing you guys in like 30 minutes.
Bye, guys.